We are just about to seal a little patio, and the main reason we're sealing this one for the owner is because their dogs have got a habit of weeing on it, but it's a great idea to seal patio slabs and block paving if you can, because it keeps them resistant to spills, oil stains, whatever. And the sealant that we're going to use, the paving sealer that we're going to use, is a Rizistal. It's an all-in-one paving sealer. This is a 5-litre tin. It's acrylic base, it's industrial grade, and it's absolutely fantastic. It dries within a couple of hours. It's touch dry within a couple of hours, can be over-coated, fully cured after 24 hours, and it will resist pretty much anything. One word of warning with all paving sealers is that they're pretty much designed for block paving and indeed some natural products. When you've got something like reconstituted stone, as this patio is, and reconstituted stone is natural stone ground up into bits and pieces, mixed sometimes with pea shingle and then cement. Sometimes that mix isn't uniform all the way through the slab, and paving sealers and dyes and that sort of stuff can dry out at different rates and leave it a little bit patchy. So if you're going to do a surface that such as we've done here, expecting a little bit of patching every now and again, it won't affect the final finish too much, but if you're really concerned, then try a little area first, one corner, and see how you go with it. But this, as I said, is industrial grade stuff. It's fantastic for DIYers and home improvers, and ordinarily we would use, for bigger patios, we would use a paint scuttle. These indeed can be bought from Rizistal as well, and for a larger area we would use a roller either by hand, or we would put a pole in the end of the roller. This is a small area. It's got some sand around it, and the construction around us hasn't finished yet, so dust is landing all the time. So I'm going to use a small pot for a small patio, and I'll show you what I'm going to do. Let's first of all tip the sealer into a little paint kettle. As I say, when we're doing a bigger area, we'd use a scuttle and a roller. Okay, so let's put a little bit in there to start with. Be careful of the splashes. You'll see that I'm wearing gloves, so I mean, we're quite used to doing stuff like this. If you're not used to this, then probably some latex gloves is good, maybe even some goggles and a mask. If I started wearing that stuff, you wouldn't be able to hear me. So I've got some in there. You'll see me from time to time using a scraper, a small soft brush, and even a little wire brush that we carry with us for doing jobs like this. So every now and again, you'll see a little stain on the patio. Give it a quick wipe with the wire brush. That brings up some dust, so we'll brush that away and then paint it. And then we're not painting in stains, and we're not painting in bits of sand and stuff that have landed on the patio. So I'm going to get on with that. You can watch the progress, and we'll see where we go, and I'll talk to you at the end of it. An important thing to remember when you're sealing patios and drives or whatever is not to trap yourself in or out. I'm going to work down here, I'm going to work along the front, and then I'm going to work slowly backwards to the door where I can get out. But we've seen many people work from the door backwards and then they can't get back in the house. So remember that. You'll also see that I'm applying this quite thickly and rubbing it in or brushing it in. Don't let it puddle, but apply enough to allow the slab to soak it in. Do not skimp on it, otherwise you will get patches. So enough to soak completely in, but don't let it puddle. This particular area here is a little bit damp, where a plant pot fell off the roof of the shed. This fantastic stuff can be applied onto damp surfaces as well. It's better if it's dry because you get a more even spread, But if you've got a damp day and you need to get it done, don't worry about it. You can put this onto damp, not when it's soaking wet, but if it's damp, you can put the Rizistal Paving Sealer onto a damp surface as well. People often ask me why I choose to use a brush rather than a roller, and indeed when I use a roller instead of a brush. The answer is really simple. If I'm doing a patio and it's fairly uneven in so much as the joints are sunk down below the level of the slab, they're all different levels, sometimes the patio slabs aren't laid particularly well and there's steps or whatever, I always use a brush. Then I know I've covered every square millimetre of this patio. Using a roller, lots quicker, but sometimes the roller will span a joint and the joint will not get the attention it deserves. So that's my answer to the brush versus roller question. Roller much quicker. If the surface is flat and even, definitely use a roller. Great coverage and much quicker. If the surface isn't flat and even, use a brush, because then you know you've done the job properly. And there we have it, one sealed patio. Another brilliant thing about Rizistal Paving Sealer is that it doesn't smell very much. There's no solvent smells coming up and hitting you all the time. It's fantastic to apply. You can get a beautifully even coverage. It covers between 5 and 10 square meters per litre. That's a huge coverage. It sounds like a big range, 5 to 10 square meters, but of course it depends on the porosity of the stone or the brick or the block paving that you're covering. With this is reconstituted stone. It didn't soak in as much as natural stone will, as much as block paving will. Therefore, I know it doesn't need a second coat. The quicker this soaks into the surface, the more likely you are to need a second coat for full protection. And this will protect you, as I said at the outset, against the bike oils that the kids change their chains and tyres and things out here, any oil spills, any doggy wee. So fully protected, fantastic coverage, and really a great product from Rizistal. You'll see me cleaning the brushes and that in a moment in the Rizistal solvent cleaner, which again is a fantastic product. It's not as toxic as some of the abrasive thinners that you can use. Excellent to have around the workshop for cleaning your tools and spillages. We love the products, they're great. More videos to come from Rizistal products.